Elder statesman, detribalized politician, erudite lawyer, activist, one-time leader of Afenifere, pan-Nigerian nationalist, and an illustrious Yoruba man. These are words that can be used to describe Senator Abraham Aderigbigbe Adesanya. Senator Abraham Aderigbigbe Adesanya, all through Nigeria's political history since independence, stood firmly for the loftiest ideals, the rule of law, and committed leadership. He played politics without bitterness, and his unparalleled leadership style till today stands as a reference point for many Nigerian politicians. Senator Abraham Aderigbigbe Adesanya was born to the family of Pa and Madam Ezekiel Adesanya, a farmer and native doctor, on the 24th of July, 1922, at Okeagbo, Ijebu-Igbo, in Ogun State. He started elementary school at St. John's African Church, Okeagbo, and later moved to Ojowu United Primary School, Ijebu-Igbo. He later proceeded to Ijebu-Ode Grammar School for his secondary education, where he passed his final education in flying colors. He was immediately employed into the Federal Civil Service in Lagos State. In 1957, he traveled to the United Kingdom to study law at the then Holborn College of Law, from where he graduated and was called to the English bar in 1961. In 1959, Senator Abraham Aderigbigbe Adesanya returned to Nigeria as a qualified lawyer and joined the Action Group, led by Chief Obafemi Awolowo. In the same year, he was nominated and eventually elected to the Western House of Assembly to represent Ijebu-Igbo constituency in the 12th December 1959 House of Representatives election. He was a dedicated Awoist who led a team of lawyers that defended Chief Obafemi Awolowo against the Nigerian federal government's charges of treason in 1962. In the aftermath of the death of Chief Obafemi Awolowo and Adekunle Ajasin, Senator Abraham Adesanya assumed the title Asiwaju of Yoruba land and simultaneously became more active politically, aligning with Bola Ige, Ayo Adebanjo, Ganiu Daudu, and Bola Tinubu to fight their way to victory in 6 states of the defunct Western region with their political party, the Alliance for Democracy. Senator Abraham Aderigbigbe Adesanya died on the 27th of April 2008 at the age of 85 while having breakfast. Since his death, he has been immortalized in a number of ways, especially by the 6 southwestern states of Lagos, Oyo, Ogun, Ondo, Osun, and Ekiti states. He was married to Rosanna Ariola Adesanya, who died 2 years after his death. They were blessed with 4 children. 10 years after his death, this astute politician, who was a force to reckon with in the society, is still being celebrated for his doggedness, principles, and ideals. On Wednesday, the 2nd of May 2018, a symposium with the title Leadership and the Future of Nigeria was held at the Muson Center, Onikon, Lagos, to mark his 10th memorial anniversary. Dignitaries who graced the event were former President of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, GCFR, Chairman of the occasion, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, retired, former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, former Commonwealth Secretary General, who was also the guest speaker, Chief Emeka Anyoko, Deputy Governor of Ogun State, Mrs. Yetunde Ononuga, former Minister of Women Affairs, Mrs. Josephine Anini, General Alani Akinriade, retired, Alhaji Lateef Jakande and wife, former governors of Ogun State, Otumba Agbenga Daniel and Chief Segun Oshoba, former Governor of Anambra State, Mr. Peter Obi, former Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Mrs. Sarah Shosan, former Governor of Osun State, Chief Bisi Akonde, former Governor of Niger State, Alhaji Babangida Aliyu, former Governor of Ondo State, Dr. Olusegun Mimiko, Senator Olorunimbe Mamora. The panelists were General Zamani Lekwot, High Chief John Wodo, who is the President General Ohaneze Ndibo, Senator Banji Akintoye, Dr. Mrs. Doyinsola Abiola, among many others. Others were elder statesman Chief Ayo Adebanjo, the Erelu of Lagos, Erelu Abiola Dosunmu, the chairman and CEO Biscom Communications, Prince Bisi Olatilo, Ambassador Dr. Olatokunbo Awolowo Dosunmu, stakeholders, among many others. To kickstart the event, which was anchored by Moji Makonjola of the NTA, was the national anthem, which was followed by the Afenifere anthem and the national pledge. In the welcome address delivered by Mrs. Dukbe Adelaja, the daughter of the deceased and former Minister of State for Defense under the administration of Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, she welcomed all, especially the keynote speaker, Chief Emeka Anyoko, who she said has a deep understanding of the demands of statesmanship. Mrs. Dukbe Adelaja, who said she was touched by the many tributes received by the family, stressed that her late father, Pa Abraham Adesanya, was an embodiment of ethical, principled leadership and an example for others to follow. She added that even though things are far from being perfect in the country, she's optimistic that if leaders can draw inspiration from what her late father believed in and emulate it, there will be positive results. She eulogized her late father, Pa Adesanya, as a transparent, principled, and highly intelligent man who valued humanity. She concluded by urging all politicians to emulate the attributes of selflessness and commitment to service, which Pa Abraham Adesanya exhibited during his lifetime.
Reminding us that my father was an embodiment of ethical, principled leadership, an example for others to follow. He and others like him struggled for democracy in Nigeria at a time when the prospect seemed very bleak. And it is thanks to their efforts that today we have at least a stable and functioning democracy. To consider the questions of leadership and future of Nigeria, let me urge all those who would lead our country to ask those questions and to emulate selfless and commitment to public service of the man we are here to remember today.
General Abdulsalami Abubakar, the chairman of the event, in his remark, thanked the family members and organizers of the event and commended all those who played active roles in bringing democracy back to Nigeria. General Abdulsalami Abubakar finally eulogized Pa Abraham Adesanya as a principled man whose advice helped him during his tenure as the head of state of Nigeria.
I want to thank all the members who participated in bringing the democracy yearned back to Nigeria. We developed a relationship with Adesanya that lasted up to his dying days. And I want to thank him again for that relationship. I relied on his advice together with others with whom we piloted the transition program.
This was followed by a documentary on the life and time of Pa Abraham Adesanya. Former President of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, in his remark, recounted his meetings with late Pa Adesanya during his political campaigns. He described him as a straightforward man whose legacies will continue to influence democracy in Nigeria.
When I met Pa Adesanya, he did not mince word at all. Straight, he said, "Why do you come here? You are not with us." I said, "Yes. I don't know who us you are talking about. But you are a politician, and I am going into politics. And first, as a well-born and bred Yoruba boy, I have to pay homage to you. I have to consult you." Baba said, But I will not support you. I said, well, that is all right, but all the same, it must be my duty and responsibility to inform you. My prayer is that the legacy of Adesanya may continue to influence and inspire the way things move in this country. People like them are not many, and we need to create more of Adesanyas. Thank you very much.
Chief Ayo Adebanjo described him as a principled man who did not compromise his stand. He charged younger politicians, who he said have a lot to learn, to follow the ideals and principles of Pa Abraham Adesanya. As an unrepentant Awoist who believes in restructuring, Chief Ayo Adebanjo complained bitterly of the set of politicians the country is producing. He also appealed to them to search their consciences and do what is right for the betterment of the country.
It's one thing to be a leader. It is another thing to be a compromising leader. It's another thing to be a leader who uses the position to fence for himself, not thinking of the people for whom he represents. The young politicians of today, I'm happy you're all here to see the documentary. You have a lot to learn from it. Your presence here today will mean nothing to me if you don't follow the footsteps of Pa Abraham Adesanya. On principle, on compromising issues that are relevant to the development of the masses of this country. Many of those who claim to be the followers of our Lord today, they use it to get into office. Haven't got there, they forgot for the principles for which we stand for. What are these principles? Consistency in politics, honesty in politics, good governance.
The keynote speaker, former Commonwealth Secretary General Chief Emeka Anyoko, in his address said, "Leadership is primarily about service to humanity." Chief Emeka Anyoko said, "With the present state of the nation, the future looks bleak, with no assurance of the country's continued existence as one political entity." He said the country has retrogressed from being the world's largest producer of palm produce, second largest producer of cocoa, with a highly efficient rail transport system and first-class hospitals in Africa, to a very sorrowful state. Chief Emeka Anyoko said retrogression started when the military intervened in the country in 1966, dismantling the very foundation of the country's stability and economic progress. He added that lack of good leadership is one of the factors that has contributed to the unhealthy state of affairs in the country. He stressed that Nigeria will not achieve enduring political stability or realize its deserved development potential with its present non-conducive imposed constitution without restructuring, which he said is the way forward.
Leadership is primarily about service, and servant leadership enables the building of trust with bonding and continuing inspiration of the people. A good leadership must be defined by discipline, resilience, perseverance, determination, unyielding devotion, and above all, a strong political will to act without deference to sectionalism. It is, I must confess, not always easy to find a convergence of all these attributes in a single individual. I believe that true federalism will provide the best basis for the realization of the Nigerian nation that we all desire, a stable, united, and socio-economically fast-developing country with a correspondingly accountable and seasoned empathetic leadership.
This was followed by contributions from other speakers. The first speaker, High Chief John Wodo, said the country does not have the needed facilities to train good leaders. He added that the selection process in Nigeria is not transparent. He said even though he believes in giving the younger generation an opportunity, it is not a guarantee for good leadership, as experience is needed to rule.
We must look for leadership, not just in Nigeria, but in our various states, in people who have a unifying character, who have a capacity to see that you cannot have a federation where the heads of all the security apparatus come from one side of the country. It strikes at the fundamental basis of our unity and our sensibility. It makes our leader look tribal. And it makes us look at Nigeria like as if she was your wife being raped by 10 people and you're ready to walk away as if nothing was happening. Our patriotism is destroyed when you have a tribal leadership. More worrisome is when I watch statesmen who, when issues of this nature exist, would rather be diplomatic than affront it.
The second speaker, General Zamani Lekwart, said it is an embarrassment to a country that calls herself the giant of Africa to see her youth traveling out for greater pastures. General Lekwart, who said Nigeria has developed an attitude of disregarding rules, noted that the structure cannot cope with a large population in the country. Proffering solutions to the various challenges in the country, he said restructuring is the way out, and it should be tabled and discussed. He also said the judicial arm of government should be empowered so as to enable them perform their duties without fear.
Many countries in Africa and the world at large are looking to Nigerians. Nigerians are doing very well outside Nigeria. Why are we who are here not working our system properly? Two, those doing so well outside are afraid to come home because of certain idiosyncrasies. So restructuring also means re-examining ourselves and that which we need to do in order to set Nigeria on the right way forward.
The third speaker, Professor Senator Banji Akintoye, stated that the failure in leadership is due to negligence and self-interest of leaders who have succeeded in producing one of the poorest countries in the world. He emphasized that the country has no reason to be poor and called for restructuring as the way forward.
Any country can break up, and we must make sure that this country does not break up. The first thing to do that our leaders must do is that they must sit down expeditiously and restructure this country. We have no business being what we are now. The United Nations says we are one of the poorest and most unequal countries on earth. We are one of the richest countries on earth. Our leaders have taken all the wealth, all the God-given wealth, and produced poverty from it. So the answer is clear. As far as Nigeria is concerned, if the leadership of Nigeria wants to regard themselves as leaders, we need to get together very, very quickly, restructure this country, and let each section of the country develop its own resources and produce wealth for its own people.
Dr. Mrs. Doyisola Abiola, who spoke for women, said the country is missing the soft power of women. She appealed to Nigerian women to get more actively involved in politics and that the older generation should mingle with the younger ones so as to understand where they are coming from.
There is nothing that is wrong with this country. I am so upbeat about this country. There is nothing that is wrong with our country. What is wrong is for us to have a common purpose. What is the common purpose? Whether you come from the north, you come from the east, you come from the south, Nigeria is our home. We have no other home. Our business is to make it work. I am saying that in this day and age, we need to have educated people, truly educated people in charge. We need to do that. All this quota system will not work because we are facing the brightest and the best in the world. When people are already going to the moon, we are still struggling with garbage collection, it doesn't make sense, And I am saying, if we take care of the next generation, we will take care of the fundamental thing. It may be a bit late for us now because we are used to a certain code of conduct. I don't see us change. We've been doing this talking forever. We've been coming to seminar and all the rest of it. But from the woman point of view, I think we should now concentrate on working for real change. And where the real change will come from is from the home.
This was followed by an interactive session. In the remark of the governor of Ogun State, Senator Ibikule Amosun, who was represented by his deputy, Chief Mrs. Yetunde Ononuga, he commended the organizers of the event for putting up a remarkable event to celebrate a national leader who was full of ideas. He urged all to continue to imbibe the spirit of democracy as propagated by Pa Abraham Adesanya, who he said stood firmly for true democracy.
As we remember this great hero, let us all continue to imbibe the spirit of democracy and that he has inculcated in all of us by this great leader. Stand firm for the unity of our dear states. In ending this short address, let me borrow the words of Vincent Lambert. I quote, "Leaders are made, they are not born. They are made by hard effort, which is the price which all of us must pay to achieve any goal that is worthwhile," unquote. So today, I stand here to celebrate on behalf of the government, ably led by His Excellency Senator Ibikule Amosun, CONFCA, and the good people of Ogun State, celebrate the life and times of this great leader. There's also a word that says, to live in the hearts of those we love is not to die. We live to celebrate the lives and times of Senator Abraham Adesanya, and we pray that his soul continues to rest in perfect peace. Thank you.
Former Governor of Ondo State, Dr. Olusegun Mimiko, also advised political office holders in the country to emulate great nationalists like Chief Obafemi Awolowo and Pa Abraham Adesanya.
People don't understand part of the problem of Nigeria where there is prevalent unemployment in this country is that this neoliberal orthodoxy that has ruled this country, which makes it more important for you to make money from financial sector rather than production, you no longer create jobs. You can sit down with your computer, do some insiders trading and make billions of naira. Nobody wants to invest money in production again because the economy is structured in such a way that the neoliberal paradigm of development, which is financialization, is what reigns supreme here. So there is ideology. All the parties today in Nigeria are core conservatives. They are sold to the neoliberal ideological paradigm. We are hoping that the true progressives will come forward. In the utilitarian sense, like Awolowo, the greatest number, interest of the greatest number, deepening investment in education, deepening investment in healthcare, deepening investment in the real sector that will provide the jobs for the young men of this country. Thank you very much.
The chairman of the occasion, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, in his closing remark, commended the guest speaker, Chief Emeka Ayoko, and other contributing speakers for their very remarkable contributions, which he said are needed in these trying times.
Let me again congratulate the Adesanya family for organizing this symposium. I hope it will be an annual affair. Like I said, this is the most under-celebrated gentleman we have. Let me thank the lead speaker for his paper and the co-speakers who were here this afternoon. In actual, what all of them have been saying, I want to believe has been said before, either by the speakers themselves, like Anyoku, who has always been emphasizing what he has been saying. I think the issue is how do we coordinate this and get it into action. With this, I want to again thank the speakers and thank the organizers. And again, I wish you all the best, and may we have peace in our country.
To bring the 10th year memorial anniversary for Senator Abraham Aderigbigbe Adesanya to an end was the vote of thanks delivered by Mr. Ayo Badokun, who spoke on behalf of the planning committee.
On behalf of my committee and on behalf of the family of Senator Abraham Aderigbigbe Adesanya and all members who have worked very diligently to bring this occasion to its very successful end, I want to say a very big thank you. God will bless you. As you go home, you reach your various destination safely in Jesus' name. Thank you very much.
From Basecamp Communications, it's farewell to an unforgettable nationalist, Pa Abraham Aderigbigbe Adesanya.